Step into the light where the wild ones roam, where the heart speaks loud, calling this place home. We break the rules, we paint the sky, ridiculously you, we were born to fly. Ooh, it's ridiculously you.
Hey, welcome everyone. I am Julie May, and this is the Ridiculously You podcast. Welcome today. Today's guest is a passionate storyteller, an unstoppable creator, and one of the most driven podcast hosts I've ever come across. You guys are going to love his podcast. This is Sam Mitchell. He's the creator of Autism Rocks and Rolls. It's a podcast dedicated to spreading awareness about autism, mental health, and celebrating the power of being yourself fully, unapologetically. He's had over 21,000 downloads, and he has interviewed some way cool people. I can't wait to ask you more about some of that, because I love freaking Temple Grandin. I'm like geeking out that you got to interview her. And he wants to share more about autism does not mean being broken or needing to be fixed, which I totally agree with. It is a brilliance and just a normal part of society. So welcome, Sam, today.
Hey, buddy. Good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. So tell me a little bit about how you decided to start this podcast. What made you go, I've got to start this podcast?
Well, it started, I joined my high school's media club, and I fell in love with it so much, I decided to start my own podcast. I didn't wait till college to expand my skills, and that was when Autism Rocks and Rolls was born.
How did you come up with the name for that?
I went down a list of my hobbies. Turns out I'm a big fan of rock and roll music, so hence the name, Autism Rocks and Rolls.
What kind of rock and roll do you like? What are some of your favorite bands?
Gee whiz, there's a too many to count one hand. But it's a time between AC/DC and Nickelback.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I was just listening to some AC/DC this weekend. Very fun. So how long have you been doing the podcast now?
Since October 2019.
Wow. And how many episodes is that? Do you know?
Well, you have to do the math here. I've done 60 episodes of each season, so season 1 and season 2. And then currently I'm on my 31st episode of season 3.
Wow.
You have to do the math. I am not a math guy on that.
That's okay.
I'll do it, but you'll get the wrong answer.
Well, one of the things that you talk about that I noticed is knowing the things that you're brilliant at and just going with the things that you're brilliant at and being okay with the things that, like my daughter says about me, either I know everything about a subject or I'm a complete dumbass about something. And that's kind of true about how I am. I either know like all the things about it or absolutely nothing about a subject. And I'm like, it took me a long time to be okay with that. So tell me a little bit more. Do you care if I ask you about some of the people you've interviewed on your podcast? Like I said, I'm a big Temple Grandin fan. So how did you get her?
That's one person right there for you.
Yeah.
I've interviewed several wrestlers. I've interviewed Mick Foley, Al Snow, RVD, Victoria, Buff Bagwell, Jake the Snake, and Kane.
How did you get connected to these amazing people to get them on your show? Because that is so cool to be able to interview these wrestlers and stuff.
Oh, I got a little Easter egg website, and then I pretty much find their publicist information and ask. Sometimes just through actually talking to them himself at wrestling conventions. Had another one come up. I'll give you a little story on it. It's kind of crazy. It's almost funny. But he was a wrestler, but he portrayed a terrorist and now is a teacher. That's literally my next guest.
Oh, really? Oh, how fun. Wild.
Yeah, it's very funny, I find, but it's also very inspiring, in my view.
Yeah, that is super inspiring. Who do you think's like your favorite interview so far?
I would have to say there's a lot of favorite interviews, but one of them would have to be Brad Lockley. He's a comedian on World's Dumbest. At 15 years, very dark person, very dark time for me. And what made it better was watching him on television. Now he's on my screen.
That's pretty freaking cool. What made that interview? I mean, you had a personal connection to him before, but what was fun about interviewing him and having that personal connection with him?
Well, the fact that he had relation to autism, and I had no clue. I wish I would have known sooner. But
Mm-hmm.
also, just talking about what we saw on television and the show World's Dumbest and just him giving extra commentary on it. Because in my view, he could have a show and it's perfect. It could be the Brad Lockley show. You didn't need those extra comedians.
That's awesome. How fun is
I'm
that?
not a fan of comedians really. Like I've never been a fan of stand-up comedians because I think it's a been there, done that ordeal.
Right.
But he's one of the few that I don't mind paying money to see.
Mm. That's got to be pretty cool to be able to have people that you have admired and seen on TV to be on your show. Can you share with us a little bit like what's your background in how people treated you with autism growing up? Did you get like the inspiring you're going to be able to do everything, or did people kind of tell you you would have some limitations? What was kind of your story about it growing up?
I got the you suck ass ordeal pretty much.
Oh no.
Yeah. So my story was diagnosed when I was 4, but I was misdiagnosed with ADHD at 2. Well, it was
Mm,
ADHD. I still have it, just turned into autism. But school was very hard. I got excluded to all the bullying and stereotypes you can imagine. And then at the age of 15, it just started progressing and got worse because I maybe had a little bit of likeness the previous year, but that was only because my mom was a teacher.
right.
So, of course, they're going to like me because my mother's a teacher. It's going to fall on me. That faded the following year. It got so bad to the point where I finally just considered not going into public. I'd rather be a guy in the basement playing video games. And even got to the point where I considered maybe drinking some alcohol because at that point, it wasn't to obviously get drunk. It was obviously just to sleep it off. I thought sleeping
Mm,
up might be the best solution. Then the following year, I decided people pleasing wasn't working after a long, strenuous thinking about what I need to do to change. And I decided to quit. If you didn't like it, the door's right there. Best decision of my life to this day. I made friends, got a podcast. I feel better about myself. I know what I have now
mm.
versus not knowing what I had back then.
When do you think you've had more friends, when you were people pleasing or now?
Now.
Isn't that wild? The time you decide to be yourself and be happy. And I think people grow up whether with something like autism or ADHD or bipolar or whatever, like whatever your thing is, I think we grow up thinking, oh, if we just people please, then I'll have friends and everyone will like me. And it does like the opposite thing. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. And the funny fact is, to this day, even though I change and can tolerate people, I don't like them.
Mm. Is there an exception to the rule? Are there people you do like, or in
Oh, yeah.
general? Yeah.
It's just like a wild cat, as I like to call it. When you meet a stray cat, they're timid, they run from you. But then once a cat gets to know you a little bit and trust you, it just takes time.
Yeah.
And then they're all cuddling up to you.
Mm.
So yes, I might be running from most people and some people, but there are some where I don't mind if they pick me up. Let's put it that way.
Right. So with that, like, what's your idea of having fun with people? What does that look like for you in your world right now?
Pretty much going out to eat for a big steak, maybe, or just enjoying time together, doing something simple. I'm a big
Mm.
concert junkie. I've been to several concerts. I've seen Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, ZZ Top, and Leonard Skinner. Those are always fun.
Those are fun. This is a question I would love to know from like somebody who has people close in my life with autism. When you go to a concert or something, does that amount of people how does that feel to you? Is it overwhelming? Is it
Oh yeah,
stimulating?
it
Tell
is
me a little
so
bit more about
overstimulating.
that.
Entering and exiting is a pain in the rear. Once we get
Yeah.
settled and the music's playing, great. But leaving and entering, it sucks so bad. I just had to come to the terms I have to get out of there as soon as possible. I will push you out of the way.
Yeah. I was
And
going
I
to
don't
ask
care if I piss someone off. I will get out of the way.
if there's anything that you have found that helps during those crowded, overstimulating times.
It's pretty much get away from it. get
Yeah.
away from the situation.
Move through as quickly as possible to
Yep.
the
And if I
next
have to
thing.
be in there, just try and get through it as quick as I can.
Yeah. But it looks like you've been able to do that and go, okay, even though there's this part of the situation I don't like, I like the concert enough that I'll move through this really quickly so that I can do the part that I like, right?
Oh yeah. But there's some stuff I will still put my foot down. I mean,
What are
concert, it's worth going through that mess.
uh-huh.
Going to the airport to go to Hawaii, yeah, it's worth the mess. But if you're going to say, hey, we're going to go to the airport and we're going to fly to Washington to go meet, trying to think here of a celebrity that I'm not too familiar with. Trying to think of one here. Maven, no.
No. Definitely not worth the stressful part of the airport to get to somebody or something that you're like, nah. What else would be hard passes? So airports are hard. What else would just be like hard pass? I'm not going to do it.
Hard pass on probably grocery shopping too. I still do
Mhm.
it, but if I had a choice, I'd rather do DoorDash. Much easier and simpler. I know
Yeah,
they're dealing with the substitutes, but that's a price I can live with.
yeah. Well, aren't we glad we live in a day and age where we have options? It's like, well, I guess we can get DoorDash or Walmart delivery or whatever. I think we have so many more options now than people used to have for, getting out of those kind of situations. So,
It's fairly new in my area because we're from a small town and they didn't really do where we were going to be, but
right.
now they've expanded it
That's
to where I'm
nice.
at.
That is nice. So, going back to kind of this mindset shift where you went from people pleasing and trying to fit in with everyone to just going a little bit of sorry the language, but fuck it, I'm just going to be me and I'm going to stop the people pleasing. What do you think the biggest turning point was to doing that? Was it people not accepting you, or what do you think was that turning point?
Well, pretty much it's what you said. Don't worry about the language. My mother and father cuss like a sailor, so it's nothing new. And I got it too. So it follows the DNA path really well in the family. But anyway, you want an answer on that? I'll give you one. People pleasing wasn't working. I kind of got angry and kind of what you said, pardon French, but fuck everybody.
Yeah.
I pretty much said F you to everyone.
Yeah. And then you did what's so fascinating and inspiring about that is when you did that, it was like, and you started this podcast that's probably helping so many people. I think you're an inspiration to so many people who are living with autism because it's like they do get told, at least like that's been my experience. A lot of them anyway get told like there's so many things you can't do and you're going to have a limited life and whatever, and you're out here like talking to these amazing like wrestlers and all of these super cool people, it's comedian that you've loved from TV, like, and having some pretty dang success doing it. Like I find that so inspiring, and your path to being inspiring to other people was saying I just don't care what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, but I do have a soft side. So even though I will say F everybody, I am aware that, okay, I was treated badly. I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. Let me try to help them. And I've always wanted to help people, but never had the opportunity to until I learned about podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm brash, as someone previously said, but I do have a soft side.
Oh, you must. That must be, that's what I think is like, this is the inherent part of you when you're not trying to do what everyone else wants you to do. Your nature of yourself is a good person. Like you're out there doing this podcast that's helping these people and helping you and spreading the word and connecting
That's
with all
why I
these
also did
amazing
it actually is
people.
for myself too, because with the stories I tell in my podcast, you either A, had to be there to understand it, and most of the people weren't, or two, if I did try to explain it, it wouldn't make sense in a normal public setting. In an interview setting like this, whole new ball game. But in the state of New York at the Statue of Liberty setting, no, it's not going to make sense.
Mm. So do you find it easier to share your stories through your podcast then?
Oh, yeah. That's why I like to do a lot of virtual apps. So the way I like to socialize is virtual. I hate doing it in person. It's not saying I won't do it. I'll do it if I have to. But if I had a choice, virtual, 100% virtual.
Where do you like to connect with people best? Like if you're chatting up friends and stuff, what apps do you use?
Social media. I'm still that young 23-year-old typical kid who likes to go on Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook and Instagram. Which one are you on more, Facebook or
Facebook?
Insta? Yeah.
Facebook, but I know it's going the way through the dinosaurs, but that's just my generation.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, you do what works for you, right? Are you somebody who likes to post your stories on Facebook and share more of your life on there?
I do a lot with Autism Rocks and Rolls, but personal wise, sometimes, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
If it's a really cool experience, like being in London, England, you bet I'm going to post it.
Did you go to London?
No, it's just an example.
That's
I
an
only said
example.
London because I did an ancestry test, and turns out most of my ancestors come from England.
Oh, is that right? That's cool. I went for the first time a couple of years ago. I've only been there once and it is incredible. So I highly recommend. Highly recommend. That is where
I want a picture with the guard. I want a picture with the guard. That is the one reason why I want to go.
So if you go, because this is something we do, if you go get a tour, because they'll tell you all kinds of stuff about like how the guard works and what the different hats mean, and they'll get you up close to them. And my daughter, her ancestry through her dad mostly is basically right from that area, right from England. And she said it was a little surreal being there because it was like she felt like the land of her people. It was like coming home, and it was really cool. So if you can go, we're gonna put it out to the universe. Get Sam out to London and get him with the guard. We're gonna ask people to set that up for you.
Love you for it.
Cool. That's right. It'd be cool. So tell me what your biggest goal is with Autism Rocks and Rolls. What are you hoping happens because you have this show?
Well, I'd love to make it into a full-time gig because right now I graduated college and I'm on the hunt for a job. It ain't going too hot right now, I won't lie. But what I truly wish is I didn't have to do that and make this a full-time gig. Because right now it's a side-time gig.
Right.
But I want it to be a full-time gig. If we could grow it as big as Goodwill, that'd be great.
That would be great. So if it could be your full-time gig, that would be excellent. What else are you hoping happens because of the show?
Well, I'm just hoping that I can spread this message to anywhere I can on television, radio, magazines.
And what's your biggest message? What do you want everyone to know?
The mission of Autism Rocks and Rolls is to change the stigma of autism and other conditions that make or disabilities. I think people on spectrum are not broken. They don't need to be fixed. Yes, society believes we do, but we don't need to be pitied. There's nothing to be sorry about.
I love that. I love that. All right. Are you ready to get in and do a quick lightning round?
Light them away.
Okay, here we go. Lightning round. Okay, let me get to where my questions are. Okay. What's your favorite thing to do? You have a free afternoon. You can do anything you want. What's your favorite thing to do?
Favorite thing to do? Go out to eat in retrospect.
Go out to eat steak. You said you like steak.
Steak, but I would go for the buffalo wings. Big wing junky chicken.
Love that. Okay. Who's somebody you would love to have on your podcast that you haven't had yet?
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, that would be awesome. Love Gordon Ramsay. Okay. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would it be?
This is going to be a funny one. Born to be Wild by Hinder.
Okay, cool. Maybe we'll get some of that to play when we get this in production. That would be fun. What do you think is the biggest thing about autism people don't understand?
We're broken, and there's one spectrum of autism where everyone has a mindset of 3-year-olds. Try again.
Try again. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a very complex and interesting thing to understand. So, well, I thank you so much for being here. I have one more question for you, and that is, What is the one thing you want people to walk away with today? You have one more message to give them. What do you want them to know?
I don't think it's words of wisdom. I think it's the truth of life. If the world could be nice and not act so stupid, I think we get along so much better, don't you think?
Of course.
Have
Of
a good night.
course. That is exactly it. If the world could just be nice and quit being stupid and mean, that would be great. That would be great. Well, Sam, thank you so much for reminding us that being different isn't a weakness, it's a gift. Your drive, your honesty, your creativity are a huge inspiration. Sam, can you tell them where they can find your podcast and everything you do?
Yeah, that's fine. You can find me on your favorite media platform. Not a hard guy to find. If you Google me, your search engine optimization, something will pop up. I can guarantee you that because I've done the research myself.
Cool. So you're looking for Autism Rocks and Rolls? You get on the podcast, get him lots of listens. It's fantastic podcast. Let's get him to doing this as a full-time gig, guys. This guy's awesome. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for joining us today. Sam, thank you so much for your time. This has been Julie May with Ridiculously You, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Share the spark, take it higher. Hit subscribe, bring a friend. Let the wildness never end. Tap in, stand true. This is your crew.